Okay.
So in terms of our focus area,
Uh-huh.
we are very much interested in international startups coming out of Asia, whether
Uh,
it's Japanese startup going international or maybe Southeast Asia or North Asian startups going international, which we hope it will include Japan. And I think that's going to be, it has been a focus of us for some time, but I think we're seeing more opportunities. And the simple reason is this. I think one of the Japan's weakness is that while we have many IPOs, it's been very small. And the reason was in the past, majority of Japanese startups focused on domestic opportunities only.
Why
Yes.
is that? Why is that?
And it's because A, it's easy to access,
Uh,
and at the same time, you can also, because Japan, you can go IPO at relatively small size, so liquidity was there. So it was basically a low-hanging fruit for many startup founders, which is good because we needed to kickstart startup ecosystem. So I think for our first phase of growth, that's fine. But I think now we need to turn up the international angle. And some people say, oh, Japan can't build international businesses, but it's not true. If you look at some of the biggest companies we have, whether it's Toyota, Sony, Nintendo, all of them make more revenue outside of Japan. So we do have in our DNA, but it's just the internet industry has not focused on the global play. But now, we are actually focused on such opportunities, and we do have a lot of support from the Japanese government investors like JIC, Japan Investment Corporation, have a theme called Go Global. They want to create the next generation of global companies. And by the way, South Korea has the same. We're invested by KVIC. They want to see Korean companies going global, including Japanese market, which we think we can help.
Yeah.
And our goal as the headline Asia is that we want to help, whether it's coming from Japan, Korea, Taiwan, or elsewhere in Southeast Asia. We like to help them grow internationally. Now, and I think in this theme, Japan is very important because Japan, of all the Asian market, is probably the largest open market. China is big, but it's kind of closed, right? If you're internet business, there's no way you can enter.
Yeah.
And but Japan remains the largest open market in Asia, which means that there's actually opportunities, of course, for domestic companies in Japan, of course, but for international players like the Korean startups. And I think some of the Korean companies historically has done quite well. Like a game company like Nexon, right? It's a South Korean company, and then they created a Japan structure, and they went IPO in Japan, and Japan
Yeah.
remains a big market for them. And
Yeah.
even like this is not a company, but as an industry, like a K-pop, Japan is a huge market. So I think it's very, I think, useful for some of our, Asian startups to think Japan is part of the international strategy. And, cost of entering Japan market is a lot cheaper than if they go into US and others,
Uh,
relatively more accessible. We have our offices in US and Europe, so we can
right.
help them globally. But, it's always good to actually enter a market that has a relatively low cost of entry, but also big enough size so you can actually start building up your international business. So I think for that, Japan's excellent. I can give you, for example, we have recently backed a company called Aura brand, health and beauty brand from Singapore, and they're already operating in Southeast Asia, like Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines. The founder is ex-Lazada founder. Now, he's already done quite well developing this business in Southeast Asia, but he realized Japan is the biggest market he can reach within his neighborhood. So he wants to come to Japan, and we decided to back this founder. And Obviously, not every business can enter Japan easily, but in many product or service categories,
Yeah.
Japan is within reach, and especially if you have good local partners like us. Plus Asia, but not including China and India. So
Yeah.
we used to do China, but China became so close, so we decided not to.
Not
Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and some of the key
Hong Kong as
Southeast Asia
well.
markets.
Oh, you're looking at Hong Kong as
Southeast,
well?
yes, like especially in the areas like fintech,
Fintech.
Hong Kong is still
Oh,
strong,
okay.
and logistics,
Yeah.
because it's regional logistics hub.
Mhm.
But
Uh,
generally speaking, I think if you look at the countries we look at, the countries that have strong um, business connections to Japan. Korea, of course, is very close business partner of Japan. Of course, Taiwan, Hong Kong, but going to Southeast Asia,
mhm.
markets like Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, these all countries all have strong traditional business ties to Japan.
Mhm.
So we think these are relatively easy to leverage because there's already kind of a underlying trust.
Mhm.
The fund we have raised so far across uh, multiple funds we have for Asia is about 500 million.
Should I mention
500.
just headline Asia, or can I mention
And if you look at globally, we're about 4 billion.
4 billion? Yeah, across the US,
But
Europe.
headline Asia is about 500 million. Yes.
Mm.
So IVS is a very broad startup platform. So we cover everything, AI, blockchain, entertainment. Even this year, I think we're doing deep tech. But for our
Fintech.
core fund, yeah, but for our core fund, we are focused on fintech, which is probably our strongest, and
Um,
logistics. And we also do now a lot of investment in industrial or vertical AI applications. We don't do foundation models. I think that's for US to figure out. We invest in applied AI for businesses, especially. I think that's a big market, especially markets like Japan.
mhm.
And so these are some of the key areas we've been focused on.
Mhm.
And also, we have traditionally done well in entertainment/gaming, and we're also seeing applied AI in the field of entertainment.
Mm.
But crypto, we have a separate fund, so that's not the main focus on.
Oh, you have a separate fund for
We have
crypto?
a separate crypto fund, yes,
Asia
because
fund?
crypto, it's Asia-wide.
Asia, right? Okay.